Here we go with Chapter 10, True-False Tests. Probably one of the easiest types of tests to put together, but they can be kind of tricky. So let's take a look at true-false tests. They are used to assess achievement. And our students are asked to draw a clear distinction between two alternatives, whether the statement is right, whether the statement is wrong, or true or false. Now, we want to be careful because even though we can come up with short sentences, they still may be fairly difficult for us to write and say what we mean and mean what we say. That's the operative approach here. And so this little example here, a minute is 60 seconds. Now, obviously, that would probably be true. But the question we need to ask is the correct answer unequivocally the right one. There shouldn't be any kind of doubt in the test taker's mind that the statement is either true or it's false based on what they know. So let's take a look at some guidelines for writing true-false questions. State the question as a declarative sentence. A declarative sentence is a sentence that makes a statement of fact. And that's it. And we can come up with all kinds of examples of that. The sky is blue. The length of a day is 24 hours. Those are declarative kinds of sentences. That's the way we want to write our true-false tests. The answer has to be either true or false, not both, and no maybes. The test taker should never have to go out there and try to decide whether the statement is true or false, or it might be both. We want to focus on one specific topic or concept. That's it in every true-false question. Don't do multiple things, just one fact. That's it. And then we don't want to have any kind of opinions here, because let's face it, the opinion might be right, might be wrong. We want facts, and that's all. And a double negative can confuse the test taker. If we keep saying no or not, they might say, well, the first part of this thing is false and the last part is true. Well, and then they need to figure out, well, which one is it? We don't want that. One statement, one fact, one concept, and that's all we want in a true-false question. Now, we've got some qualifiers. Words like never, always, sometimes, none, best. Never, we would assume it's never the case. Always. Every time. Sometimes. What about that one? None. Okay, we can pretty much figure that one out. Best, well, what I think is best might be what you don't think is best. So be very, very careful using these words in a true-false statement. And also don't include any clues in the item to let them know whether it's true or false. If we have any kind of complex information that we're trying to get across, we might want to use another question format. True false is really not designed for really complex stuff. It's either yes or no, true, false. And we want to have an equal number of true and false items on the test. So we want to try to balance out our true answers and our false answers. Let's not have an all line of first 5 questions. If we have a 10-item set of true false questions, first 5 are true, last 5 are false. That's not what we're after. Some advantages and disadvantages of true-false questions. They're easy to write. And so that would definitely be a great advantage. And also they are easy to score. You and I can just set up our little answer key right next to our true-false questions and just get after it. The truth, though, is never quite what it seems to be, especially whenever we are getting into some complex information where students have to think. What they think is true may not be what you and I think is true, and so we don't want them giving opinions. One of the things about true-false items is that they emphasize memorization. You just memorize the information and try to hold it up in your brain long enough to be able to take the test, and then you pretty much forget it. But I guess in my mind the biggest disadvantage is that basically you got a 50-50 chance to be able to get the question right, even if you are clueless as to what the answer is. And the law of averages, may catch up with you to at least give you some right answers. So there are some definite downsides to true-false, but I think the advantages sort of balance it out. Now, your book talks about some mathematical stuff that we can do to correct our true-false questions and kind of allow for guessing. And let's face it, you got a 50-50 shot of getting it right. Now, the adjustment is designed to help so that scores reflect those who know, not those who just guessed. And so we come up with a corrected score, which is the number of true-false items correct minus the number incorrect. And so we kind of take those wrong answers into consideration. And so let's take a look at an example. So you got a 50-item test. Expect to score 25 by chance alone. That would just be that if they guessed at every one of them, chances are they would get 25 right. Just a wild guess. And so you just multiply it 1/2 or 5/10 times 50. That would give you 25. But let's say Bruce, as your example says, got 35 correct, and Bill got 25 correct. All right. So if he would take his 35-point score and then subtract 10 from it, you get 25. Bill got 25 correct, so he got basically a difference of 0 on his particular true-false test. And so you really want to be correct on true-false tests. kind of summarize, it's a good format, but limited to knowledge-based items only. You're not going to get a lot of higher order thinking out of a true-false test. And of course, the probability of getting the correct answer is a 50-50 percentage. Big limitation to true-false tests, but yet you may want to set the standard for passing way above 50. And so you would set your corrected score up higher than just whatever the 50% number of your test items would be.